Hello everybody, welcome, happy Tuesday, I am TinTim, that's T-I-N as in nobody better, T-I-M as in main event. So here we are, the 6th and final episode of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars. Before I get into this week's review, I have a few housekeeping items I want to go over with you all. First, I wanted to quickly tell you about my look for today. My partner and I have a daughter who lives with her mothers in Seattle. Last summer, I ran an online fundraiser for one of my art projects. Her moms gave a donation, and the thank you gift was that our daughter got to select 3 things that I had to include in a future look. So, the 3 that she tasked me with were penguins, lollipops, and telephone. Penguins is the little tuxedo vest. Lollipops are crunched up things here. Telephones, obviously. Second order of housekeeping. We have reached the end, sadly, of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars, so it has been challenging to do these videos every week, but also quite rewarding, so I wanted to make sure I let you know now that I definitely plan to be back for Season 5, which I'm very excited about. The cast looks spectacular. There are 2 weeks in December when I will be visiting family for the holidays, but other than that, I would like to continue to provide you with new videos, so I wanted to ask you all if there are topics you would like me to discuss. Share those in the comment thread. Next item of housekeeping, because it is the holiday season, and I am a giver, damn it, I have a very special gift to share with you all. Triple Xmas Spirit, my EP of dirty DIY dance pop for the holidays, will be available on Bandcamp. I will put the link in the description for this video. I am making it self-determined pricing, meaning that it is a gift for you all. You don't have to pay anything, but if you feel inclined to make a donation, anything that you give will be put back into my art. I am broke as fuck right now, so it'll help. Without further ado, let's talk about episode 6, the series or season finale of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars. I don't know about you, but I thought that this was one of the more entertaining episodes of the season. The challenge was classic Drag Race. The first thing that I want to talk about is a concept that some of you may be familiar with called code switching, which I think actually comes out of linguistics, but I'm more familiar with it from social movements and my social justice work. The way that I have heard it used and the way that I have used it talks about the ways that those of us who are from kind of an oppressed or marginalized culture of one kind or another, we speak the language of our immediate people or community or group, whoever that is, as well as needing to be fully versed in the language of the mainstream so that we can survive in mainstream institutions and thrive, but also retain our identity and our distinctiveness. And code switching refers to the sophistication that a lot of people who experience oppression of one kind or another are able to develop for going back and forth between those two spheres. I think initially in linguistics it refers particularly to speaking different languages, but the way that I've heard it used, it also talks about all of the other cultural cues. I think that RuPaul is one of the master code switchers in American pop culture because of her ability to move between a lot of different spheres, between the mainstream, between drag culture, different kinds of drag culture. RuPaul is someone who I think is very sophisticated about speaking different languages. Interesting that for the final challenge of the All-Stars season, she gave to the queens what I thought was really a code-switching challenge to move from the mainstream media interview to a gay community appearance at Hamburger Mary's. There was a certain officiousness to it and really being a community representative in a way, and then with the final challenge being in more of an entertainment context, literally having to wear all these different hats or wigs, whatever, physically move between these different spaces and identities and ways of talking and existing in the world to test them on how adaptable they were and how able they were to represent themselves, represent RuPaul's brand, the television show's brand, represent their community. RuPaul said to them, very explicitly, be yourself, but don't be too crude, a little bit naughty, a little bit subversive, but also, to be palatable for this more mainstream audience. RuPaul has always made it very clear that she expects from the winners of Drag Race is to be able to represent all of these different things effectively. This was sort of the ultimate challenge for testing that. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about from this episode was the discussion that RuPaul had with the queens during Untucked, specifically her conversation with Juju. On the one hand, I think that it's very important that we not give so much of ourselves to others that it is harmful to ourselves. I think it is very important that we not enable others' dysfunction when that dysfunction is harmful to them. And there are times when we do need to let other people fall in order to learn and grow. But at the same time, I thought that Juju said something really beautiful and really profound that then was kind of like dismissed or swept away because of the way the conversation was set up. You know, that she believes we are all connected to one another and that we are all part of, you know, a system that is mutually supportive and reinforcing, where we really hold each other up. I think her specific words were, we are all part of an organism and every part of that organism affects the whole. That really resonated with me, and you know, as someone who really works to build strong communities and strong collectives, it's important that we hold that up along with the need to take care of ourselves. And ideally, we take care of ourselves within the context of taking care of each other. RuPaul's spirituality sometimes for me is a little bit too much down this road of like hyper-individualism, and you know, it's that very Oprah-esque sort of new age spirituality of, you know, anything that interferes with my energy needs to go. And I think that sometimes we do have responsibilities to one another, you know, building something beautiful as a collective. Juju is incredibly popular with fans, and I think it's because that positive energy, when you put it out in the world, you know, it eventually comes back to you. Finally, the last thing I want to talk about, since this is the last of these reviews for Drag Race All-Stars. I know that a lot of us felt disappointed in one way or another by All-Stars, and for the last few weeks I've been trying to put my finger on just what it is that didn't quite work or didn't quite come together. I know a lot of people felt like it was the teams. My initial reaction to that was, well, they had to come up with something to make such a short run 6-episode order work. It seemed to me like as creative an idea as any for how to kind of shake up the format, keep the show interesting, but I think ultimately I agree with everyone that it didn't work for whatever reason. And this week, I don't know about you all, but I felt like the instant these people were functioning on their own again, it was like their personalities came back. Maybe it's true that drag queens are just one-woman shows, and, you know, anytime everyone just accepts something like that as a given, I'm the kind of person where I get a little skeptical, where I'm like, well, is that true, or have we just decided that's true? I'd be interested in hearing y'all's thoughts on that. Why didn't the teams work? Why didn't they create more interesting television or friction? Why didn't it bring together the combined powers of the two queens more frequently in ways that were really innovative and interesting? I'm interested in hearing from you all, so leave me your comments. And in the meantime, thank you all so much for sticking with me these past 6 weeks. It has been a blast, and I am looking forward so much to Season 5. Download my Christmas EP, share my videos with your friends, and much love to you all. Happy holidays. Bye-bye. We have